We speak the Queen's English, none of that hablas Espanol nonsense.
Was he rapping or talking?
We will come to New York and bless your children.
So you want to tell me that guy brought you all the way from Nigeria to this place to put you under a budget?
Man, I don't chop big chap for you.
Just because I'm Nigerian doesn't make me a criminal.
This is what you come here. How?
Hey, what the hell's the matter with you, boy?
So you want to beat me? You do not beat me in Nigeria. It is here. You want to come and beat me. Your Kozuna, eh? Alright. You are in America. Use your brain. You're not in Nigeria.
I did not lay a finger on her. I didn't lay a finger on her.
Bad news is your wife filed for divorce.
I will never accept someone that has no traceable roots. Because Ade is my husband.
I did not lay a finger on you. Are you married?
Hey!
And hey, you got African roots too.
Hi, I'm Gemma and you're watching Factory 78. I'm here today with Niyi Towolawi, the very talented writer, filmmaker and director from Eccentric Films. Hello, how are you today?
Yeah, I've been good. Obviously, the film's finished now, so we're just starting at the marketing, run. Yeah, it's quite hectic, but it's fun.
The record shows that her husband brought her here from Africa and into a life of isolation.
No, it sounds it. But before we get onto the film and your kind of current ventures, I'm quite interested to find out a bit about you before all the directing and everything that you're currently caught up in. So tell me a bit about how you got into the industry or your first job kind of setting out.
My very first job, actually, which feels like a different lifetime now, was working in IT. I was a software developer, building websites for Sainsbury's and just various companies, really. But while that was happening, I was also quite involved in music. I used to produce music and play instruments and all sorts. And about 10 years ago, shot a music video that was really quite well received. We actually won a few short films awards for it.
Oh yeah, man. What do you think? If I'm not there, my moms will come to America and drag me back herself.
No one else will enter this family as his wife.
So if it wasn't for the film industry, do you think you would have ended up with a career in music?
Yeah, very possibly. I've actually always been really quite, creative, and music has always been like the forefront of everything I do. Besides music, I do a lot of art as well, like drawing and painting and things like that. And all of that actually naturally comes together in the filmmaking, sort of arena, because essentially any type of creative energy that you have can be employed in film. So it's sort of either way, really.
Do you have any kind of inspirations, if you like? Because I know you do a lot of directing. Do you have a favourite director or anything like that that you've been able to relate to in the past or look at their work and kind of idolise in a way?
Yeah, definitely. I would say my favourite director definitely would be Ridley Scott. His brother Tony Scott died recently, and it was only when that happened that I realised how much he'd actually influenced me. Also, and besides that, I've seen thousands of films. Most filmmakers have a really high retention rate of films, so you kind of watch something and you just take it all in, and that would come out in whatever you're doing yourself. My writing typically, I didn't really start out as a writer, and it's not something that I'd wanted to do. I would have preferred to actually work with great writers and sort of, adapt my visual filmmaking style to their work.
More than that, every day on lunch, okay? What kind of nice girl sleeps with a man on the first day?
I know your previous 2007 film Twisted, which was a great hit, kind of had that underlying tone. It had a lot of morals that came out of the woodworks that I guess you prompted the audience to consider. And I think there was a lot of thought-provoking questions and stuff. Is that something that we can expect to see from Turning Point?
Just because I'm Nigerian doesn't make me a criminal.
This is what you come here. How?
Hey, what the hell's the matter with you?
Oh, definitely. I would say much more even, actually. The underlying moral question of of Twisted was, you know, like the whole, you know, older woman dating a younger man kind of thing, especially someone that is a close family friend as well. You know, I mean, that does raise, you know, yeah, that does raise a few questions, but from the perspective of Turning Point, it's a melting pot of so many different characters. And every single person, you know, is tackling, you know, like the same scenario, but from a very personal, you know, but from a very personal, you know, perspective. And so when you have a myriad, you know, like viewpoint of that nature, I mean, you do get something that is very impactful and that will explode eventually. And that's what Turning Point is.
Who are you?
Who are you looking for?
This is my fiance's house. A day?
Well, that's not possible. Because Ade is my husband.
I mean, that sounds like something that we're going to really look forward to as an audience. I know it has a lot of themes in there, like manipulation, kind of family pressures and arranged marriages and that kind of thing, karma, complacency, redemption. Are there any of those themes that you can particularly relate to, or which you relate to the most?
Fortunately, no, actually. Turning Point is 100%, you know, fictitious. It's, you know, it's fully made up. But the ingredients of the theme that you talked about, there's a lot of ethnic prejudice in there as well, from the African American to, you know, like to the, you know, like to the African that was born and raised in the States, to the African that emigrated to the States. So you do have a lot of that actually going on. It's things that you can relate to very easily. Things that I relate to. I haven't really experienced much of that myself, but it's something that you can easily like think of and just put together, really, you know, and just twist it and turn it around and get.
I'm sure a lot of people would be able to relate to that as an audience. How did you manage to get American actors involved in the film?
I did not lay a finger on her. I did not.
With a lot of hard work and groveling and begging and all sorts. Well, the whole Hollywood system is run by the unions, and there are two aspects that could actually, you know, encourage, you know, an actor to actually come on board a project. Either you throw a lot of money at them, or you give them a project that offers them something new or different. You know, and the tagline for Turning Point, as you know, is Hollywood meets Nollywood. So essentially, you know, we're like we're bridging, you know, the gap between two different film industries, and that is something that is very exciting for them. You know, like the storyline and, you know, like the style of filmmaking and everything is completely different and new to them, and it's just very exciting for them, really. And that was what the main selling point was.
Okay, and you briefly mentioned finance. How did you find that in terms of raising funds for the film itself?
It's largely self-funded, but also we have a film fund whereby friends and family essentially just bought shares in the project. You know, so people that believed in it threw money into it, really, actually, like little bits here and there, all adds up.
Well, it's nice that you've got that support, definitely. I think, you know, collaboration is very important in that sense. In terms of the movie, I know it's one of the most highly anticipated African movies of the year, no pressure. Can we expect any surprises?
Makes a lot of money, hopefully. I'll be surprised. No, not really. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's very exciting. I mean, once you've seen like the trailers or the teasers, you get to sort of appreciate like the type of quality that the film, you know, is pushing. And so really you should just watch it and enjoy it, really. There shouldn't be anything surprising, like, you know, yeah, like beyond that.
So who would you recommend it to?
It's pretty much, I mean, it's pretty much, as far as an audience is concerned, it's very, very open. Naturally, I mean, it targets largely like the Afro-Caribbean sort of market, you know, yeah, you know, essentially. But it does open to a wider audience, because there are themes in it that is just very human. You know, it's not African or anything like that. And at the same time, you know, the casting is you know, is very diverse. I mean, we've got guys like Joe Estevez in it, who, you know, who like the Latino community absolutely adore. You've got, you know, Ernie Hudson in it. You've got Todd Bridges, you know, Katie Bear, that are very much, again, very African American. And at the same time, you've got Patience, you know, and you've got Patience, you know, Uzoko, and Jackie Appiah, who are very much African and very much Nollywood. So we could essentially tap in, you know, people from all those various, you know, communities.
Great. Well, I know you mentioned the tagline, which was Nollywood meets Hollywood. How would you describe the Nollywood industry, or what direction do you see it going towards in the future? Because I think that's very important to a lot of our viewers.
Yeah, it seems like in the last, say, few years, there's sort of been a natural shift from the home video sort of film production towards making films that are more, you know, like cinema, you know, like oriented, with higher production values and things like that. And I mean, we've got more and more of that coming out with every passing year, and, you know, more money's been, you know, like more money's been, you know, it's been invested into the industry as well. So I will expect that if that naturally, if that naturally continues, we should get to a point whereby you have, you get a film industry that isn't just known for producing large numbers of films anymore, but they're now producing those films in quality, you know, as well as quantity. And that's essentially something that, you know, that's something that I essentially want to be a part of, hence Turning Point.
Absolutely. And I think the quality of that will really shine through. I have seen the trailer, and I know there's great things for the audiences and the viewers who are anticipating this movie this year. In terms of yourself, I know that you have been labelled eccentric. How do you
Have I?
How do you think that you're going to continue to push the boundaries in filmmaking, directing, writing, or whatever it is that you plan to do?
Yeah, well, pushing the boundaries is actually something that comes extremely easy, because I look at films like Avatar, and ultimately that's where I want to sort of, you know, like get to. It's not really about, you know, like being like the local champion or someone that sort of like excels at making, you know, like low budget films or anything like that. It's about the next one has to be bigger and better and bigger and better. And, you know, you're doing more and more and more, you know, getting more funding, getting, you know, like getting bigger actors in there, doing action films with, you know, exploding buildings and people jumping out planes and all sorts. So it's essentially just sort of just raising the bar every single time, really. And that will continue. So
is that something that we're going to expect from you? Action films, that sort of thing. What would you like your next venture to be?
I actually don't know. I've got three things in the pipeline right now. Two of them are very, very action driven. And again, it's all about funding and logistics, really. But do you have an action film that would completely blow your mind? I'm not even kidding. Just thinking about it actually makes me smile even. It's very much like in the Taken style, but again, it's that Hollywood meets Nollywood kind of thing.
I'm a real sucker for action films, so I can't wait. Just tell us quickly about Turning Point, the release date, and what we can expect from that from now on. Okay,
we've just sealed the premiere dates. So the world premiere is going to be in London, 12/12/12. That's 12th of December 2012 at the Indigo 2. It's going to be big. It's going to be very, very exciting. All the actors are coming down. I'm sure that every single person has someone in there that they just absolutely love, be it Ernie Hudson or, you know, Jackie Appiah or Oge Okoye or anyone, really. Everyone's going to be there. It's going to be very, very big. It's leading up to Christmas as well. And, yeah, we're saving the best till last, really. So 2012, 12/12/12.
Absolutely. So that's a date for the diary. Do not forget and do not miss this. I can speak from the trailers and from sitting with this lovely gentleman here today. It's something not to be missed. So stay tuned. And thank you for watching Factory 78.
the hell's the matter with you, boy?